So as you know, and as I've talked about many times on this channel, I have met some really cool people through this YouTube thing. I've made some lifelong friends. I've met some supporters that are some of the coolest people in the world. Yeah, I mean, needless to say, you guys are pretty cool, okay? That's what I'm trying to say here. You guys are pretty awesome. And I've talked about some of the not so awesome things that being a YouTuber has brought me. But as always, the good always outweighs the bad when it comes to this. I love it. But today I'm talking about something that is truly insane and something that blows my mind to talk about to this day. And it's pretty crazy. I hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do. And let's get into it. This is the story of how I fought a fan. Yeah. Let's go. So today's story time all takes place back when I was 17. Now my channel was completely blowing up at this point. This was really when it became like my full-time career and like everybody in my life was starting to take it seriously. And I couldn't believe it. I was just excited. I could not believe people liked my videos enough. So many people, and they were watching them. And around this time, I started to get recognized a lot more, which was pretty cool. At times it'd be kind of weird because I wasn't used to it. But for the most part, it was really, really cool. Now, if you guys were a part of my channel back then, you know I didn't show my face a whole lot. I still don't. But like back then, I really didn't show it. So it was super surprising that people recognized me in public. Usually it was because of my voice. That was like always what would happen. Like they wouldn't know me from my face, but I'd be talking to somebody and they'd be like, yo, your voice sounds familiar. And that's still the case. Most of the time when I'm out in public, if I meet somebody in person, they'll recognize me off my voice before my face, which is kind of funny. So this all starts off like a normal day back then when I was 17. At this point, I was not in high school anymore. I was just at my mom's house, grinding videos every day while the rest of my friends were in school. And this was like any other day back then. I got up out of bed, finished up a video, uploaded the video, got on some CSGO with some friends of mine, and then later that night, a buddy of mine hit me up. He was like, yo, I'm going to this party tonight. I don't want to go alone. You're not going to know anybody there, but you should still come with me because I don't want to go alone. And I was like, what? What do you mean I'm not going to know anybody there? Like, whose party is it? And also, don't you have school tomorrow? Because it was a Thursday. And he was like, no, we don't have school tomorrow. Tomorrow's teacher meetings. And I'm like, oh, shit. Well, congrats, I guess. And he's like, yeah, you coming or not? And I was like, I don't know. Whose party is it? And he goes on to tell me that it's some girl, like it's a friend of his girlfriend's having this party. And him and his girlfriend were going to go, but his girlfriend got sick. But I guess like the girl throwing the party still wanted him to go for some reason. I don't know. It was a really weird situation and I didn't understand it fully. But yeah, I guess he just didn't want to go alone and he wouldn't know a lot of people there. So he wanted to have me along for the ride so it would be easier to deal with. So I was like, you know what, man? Sure. Why not? New people. Maybe I'll meet someone cool. So I went with him. He came to my house, he picked me up, and we were en route to the party. Now, upon arriving there, I did not know what to expect. I didn't know if we were going to be showing up to like, 5 people, 10 people, 150 people, who knows, right? All I know is that my buddy told me that the girl throwing the party was renting an Airbnb, and it was like a pretty big house. So that was cool. And yeah, upon arriving, he was not kidding. This was a pretty big house, and it was pretty nice. And when we went inside, I realized this was not going to be a 10-person party. There was probably about 60 or 70 people in this house, which was insane. Like 60 or 70 people in one house is a lot. Now after arriving, I realized very quickly my friend was not lying. There was like nobody there that I knew. And my friend only knew one other person but me, and that was the girl throwing the party. And he introduced us. She was pretty cool. It was her 18th birthday. And she actually went to a different school, so that's why we knew nobody there, because everyone else there was from a different school. Now, the first like 30 minutes of being there was actually very fun. For not knowing anybody, I actually met some people pretty quick and made some new friends, and some of those people I'm still cool with to this day. And yeah, I thought it was just gonna be a great night, right? Well, at about 30, 45 minutes in, some shit starts going down. There's this guy there. We'll just call him Jacob, okay? Jacob, he had been there longer than us. He was there when we got there. And for the most part, he just seemed like a party goer. Like he was just there talking to his friends, doing his thing. Well, out of nowhere, Jacob, about 45 minutes in, goes up to the girl that's hosting the party, the one whose birthday it is, and he randomly starts yelling at her. I couldn't quite hear like what he was saying, but me and my friend, we could like visibly see that she was getting like lectured by this guy. He was like pointing at her, he had his finger in her face, his voice was raised because we could hear it across the room, just barely, like over everybody else. And we decided, all right, we need to go like break this up because this is clearly like not, like okay on this girl's birthday. She should not be getting yelled at. So me, my buddy that took me there, and a couple other people that we made friends with at the party walked up to Jacob and this girl arguing. And I was like, hey, like, what's going on? And the girl hosting the party looked so relieved that we were there to, like, rescue her, right? And this guy, Jacob, the one yelling at her, looks at me and he's like, excuse me, who the fuck are you? And my friend gets in front of us and he's like, I'll do the talking, actually. We saw you yelling at this girl. It's her birthday, man. I don't know what your disagreement is here, but, like, it's her birthday. Cut her some slack. Don't yell at her. You guys can talk about whatever problem you have at a normal volume. Like, you're yelling, it's scaring everybody at the party. Like, chill. And this guy goes, whatever. He turns around and he walks away. And this girl is just left standing there. And she starts crying, like, from what just happened. She's, like, you know, just overwhelmed by this guy yelling at her. And, like, she's processing it now that he's gone. And I ask her, I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, why was he yelling at you? And she goes, that was my ex-boyfriend. He cheated on me like 2 months ago. And he's just been stalking me ever since I broke up with him. And I was like, oh, shit, that's not good. And right after she says this, from behind us, we hear this guy yell, this Jacob dude. He's like, hey, you can leave her the fuck alone now. I walked away, so should you. And I turn around, I'm like, bro, relax. And he comes up to me and he gets up in my face. And he's like, what? What'd you say to me? I'm like, bro, I said relax. And you should. You're way too pissed off right now. And then out of nowhere, one of his friends comes over. I don't know who this dude is, but like he's, you know, kind of the same build as me, skinny dude. He walks over and he starts getting in my face too. And then my friend gets in his face and like now it's kind of like a 2v2 situation. And then this girl comes over and she's trying to break it up. And it's just a whole clusterfuck of people, right? Well, as soon as this girl gets involved and she gets in the middle between us, this skinny dude swings over her shoulder, like around her head at me. For no fucking reason. I did not swing first. I didn't say some shit that was out of pocket. Like, I did not deserve to get swung at. But he swung at me. Now listen, if you've watched my channel for more than like a day, you know that I am not an aggressive or violent person. And 99.9% of the time, I am not fighting somebody unless it is self-defense. So when this dude swung at me, I fought back. Because it's self-defense. I still think violence ain't the answer, but, you know, he's swinging at me. What am I going to do, right? So me and this random dude who's got the same build as me, which made this a lot easier, I can't lie, because if he was bigger than me, I probably got my ass kicked. But we're fighting. And this other dude's trying to jump in, this Jacob dude, the one that was yelling at her and kind of started the whole thing. And my friend's like pulling that dude away from me, the Jacob dude, and he's trying to fight him, and then Jacob's trying to fight me, and this other skinny dude's trying to fight me, and it's like just a whole, like I said, clusterfuck, and it's confusing. I don't know who to go for, right? Well, after like 3 or 4 punches each from me and this dude, we get broken up. Some random guys at the party jumped in, broke us up. Then we were like screaming at each other from across the house. He was on one side of the house yelling bad words at me. I was on the other side of the house just laughing at him because he was so mad. But it doesn't end there. I wish it did, but it doesn't. That Jacob dude ends up breaking free from the people that are holding them back. And he runs across the room, jumps up in the air, and tries to dive at me through like a crowd of people. But I just jumped out of the way, and he ends up diving into a random dude. And this random dude, you know, was mad because he got, you know, tackled. And he gets up and he starts fighting him now. So now there's a whole nother fight breaking out over some shit that doesn't even involve that guy. So after like a few hits of them fighting, they get broken up. And this girl, the one that was hosting the party, gets some of her friends to kick her ex out of the party. That Jacob dude, they kick him out and his friend follows, the one that was fighting me. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why he was there in the first place, because, like, motherfucker was stalking her and, like, being really weird. Maybe he snuck in and she just didn't see him that whole time. Maybe he got invited because she wanted to, like, be friends. I don't know. It wasn't my business. I wasn't gonna ask, and I didn't ask. But they got kicked out, right? Completely kicked out, and I thought that'd be the end of it. Well, fast forward about 3 or 4 hours later, the party's winding down. I'm over it. I want to go home. I'm getting tired. So me and my friend decide, you know what? It's time to go. Let's leave. So we grab our jackets and we leave. And we're walking out down the driveway of this Airbnb, going to my friend's car. He was good at drive because he didn't drink or anything. And while we're getting in the car, we hear a voice yell, "What's up, pussies?" And we look to our left, and it's one of the guys that we were fighting earlier. Not Jacob, not the creepy ex, but the skinny dude, the skinnier one. And he starts walking up to us. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, yo, this dude's fucking insane. Like, he waited outside this many hours so he could have a chance to fight us again when we're leaving. But it wasn't what I expected. He comes up to us, and he's like, yo, I just wanted to say, my bad. And me and my friend were like, what? And he's like, my bad. Like, I don't know what y'all were fighting over, you and Jacob, but, like, I just jumped in because he's my boy, and looking back, I lost my cool. It wasn't good. My bad. And I was like, oh, all right, shit, man. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. My bad, too. He's like, yeah, man, what's your name? My name's Dominic. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm Austin. And he's like, nice, nice. And we start making like awkward small talk. And about like 30 or 40 seconds into talking to him, he's like, yo, this is going to sound kind of weird, but like your voice, super familiar. It sounds just like a dude I watch on YouTube. And right when he says this, my homie goes, oh man. And he starts laughing. And Dominic's like, what? What's so funny? And I was like, what's the dude you watch on YouTube's name? He goes, Luna. And I just walk up to him. I put my arm around his shoulder and I was like, well, you just got yourself a video on my channel, my friend. And this dude starts jumping up and down like I just told him the best news of his life. He's like, no fucking way. You're him? And I was like, uh-huh. And it was just a funny ass moment, man. Like, unbelievable. And he starts going, bro, I can't believe I hit you. I'm so sorry. And I was like, bro, you're good. Like, I'm sorry too. He's like, nah, man, don't be. It's all good. It's all good. Like, I was being an asshole. I jumped in when I shouldn't have. And honestly, that fight was like so short-lived. And like, we were both such skinny dudes. Like, we didn't really hurt each other. We both walked away pretty unscathed. Now, me and this Dominic dude ended up talking for like another 5 or 10 minutes. He also proceeded to apologize like 8 more times. And I was like, bro, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Now, after talking for a little bit, we ended up taking a photo together because he wanted to take a picture for his Snapchat. And then I said peace out and it was nice to meet him. And we went our separate ways. And I actually ended up seeing Dominic a few more times after this throughout the next couple years because I lived in a small town. So whenever I was visiting home from LA or like, you know, like out somewhere with friends, I'd sometimes run into him and we'd have like a cool little conversation and he was always very cool. And I haven't seen him in quite a while since the last time I saw him, but hopefully he's doing good. And if he's watching this, Dominic, you finally got your story. But yeah, man, that is the story of how I accidentally fought a fan. And he accidentally fought one of his favorite YouTubers at the time. So honestly, a pretty insane story for both of us. Honestly, I should get him on to tell his side of the story and like have his perspective of what it was like to like fight me. Honestly, that might be a good idea. I'm gonna hit him up about that. Let me know if you want to see that. But yeah, guys, that is the end of the story time. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely a crazy one. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below and subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys all later. Peace.
I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars. Always stay devoted, mama knew I'd be a star. Now I'm steady flowing, feeling like I'm high as Mars. I'ma keep on going, I'ma always raise the bar. I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars.